So my name is David Tullis. Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome to Anderson Town Hall. It's a pleasure to be here, to be able to share why I'm seeking this office, to visit with you a little bit about the ideas that I would bring as Commissioner Precinct 2, and to sort of discuss the performance of the previous commissioner. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal background and a few of the issues that are very important to me. So to begin the meeting, I have a few questions that I want you to consider. And the first one would be, wouldn't it be nice to elect someone who works full-time on behalf of Grimes County Precinct 2 taxpayers? Wouldn't it be nice to elect someone who is dedicated to equal representation for everyone in the precinct? Wouldn't it be nice to elect someone who works hard every day to make our roads a little safer, our county government more efficient, our area a better place to live? Haven't we had enough of the same old way of doing business, and isn't it time for a change? I would like to be that change. So a little bit about me. I'm a fourth generation resident of Grimes County. I have 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. I'm a small business owner based here in Plantersville. My business is based in Plantersville. My business is called TD Vintage Treasures. I'm in partnership with my beautiful girlfriend, Tanya Walters. Trust me, I couldn't do the things that I do if it wasn't for Tanya. During this 3 months that I've been on this campaign, Tanya has taken on 99% of the burden of growing our business as I met with folks throughout the precinct, learned about what was important to them, and developed this campaign. There's no way I could be here today speaking to you without her love and support. Thank you very much, Tanya. I appreciate it. So we also own and operate Grimes County Media, which some of y'all might have seen different facets of that if you utilize Facebook. We formed Grimes County Media back in 2020 as a nonprofit which would allow us to give back to our community. And through Grimes County Media, we have several different Facebook groups. We have a private news group called Grimes County News Media. We have a public news group called Navasota, Texas Public News. We have several pages. The first one that I formed was Grimes County Citizen Advisory Group, which some of y'all might have seen. It was very popular starting back in 2014, 2015, when we were first dealing with the 249 toll road, the Texas Central High-Speed Rail project, and the high-speed transmission line that was cutting right through the county. So we utilized that Facebook page at that time to spread the message and allow the folks that were concerned about those projects to network and coalesce to better identify how to guide those projects or to stop them completely. And we were an integral part of making the 249 project through Grimes County a free road versus the toll road that it is in every other county leading back to Houston. It's a free road in Grimes County today because the citizens of Grimes County and Precinct 2 in particular came together to make it so. Y'all will have to excuse me. I like to chew gum. My mouth gets dry when I talk in front of an audience. Tanya has told me that I cannot chew gum. So I'm going to drink water to make sure that my mouth stays in a position where I can talk to y'all. My apologies if you see me grabbing a water bottle periodically, but I don't want to get in trouble with Tanya, so I'm not going to chew gum. So we're going to come back and talk a little more about Grimes County Media, but we also have some specialty groups. We have one that's called Grimes County Ranch, Farm, and Garden, which we formed specifically to support Grimes County agricultural producers. If you sell livestock, you sell chickens, or if you're looking for a place to buy livestock chickens or a place to pick your own strawberries, we've got it. We have 1,400 members in that group, and it grows every day. We also have one called Grimes County Restaurants and Cafes, which we use to highlight the great restaurants that we have in Grimes County. There's a lot of great places to eat in Grimes County. There's no reason to go to Bryan College Station. There's no reason to go to Magnolia, Montgomery. There's plenty of nice places to eat right here. And when you spend those dollars here, it goes to grow the Grimes County tax base, and it helps your neighbors grow their business. We also have Grimes County Pets and Animals, which we use to address the ever-present and growing dumped dog and cat situation in Grimes County. We have 1,700 members in that group, and we're going to touch on that more a little later. And then we have Grimes County Sports and Outdoors, which we use to focus on the outdoor activities that are available in Grimes County, the sports teams of the local high schools, with a particular emphasis on the schools other than Navasota. It's not that we don't share things about Navasota, but the Rattlers are well covered by the Examiner. So we like to focus on the Richard Panthers, the Anderson Owls, the ones that don't make it into the paper every week. We're big fans of the Richards Panthers basketball team. I don't know if you're basketball fans, but they're having a very special season this year. Their basketball team plays together well as a team, and they're fun to watch, and I believe they're going to go to the play. So that's a little bit about Grimes County Media. That's something we're very proud of. We operate and fund it ourselves. We don't accept any outside contributions. It's just a way for us to show how much we love the Grimes County community and a way for us to give back. So if you don't mind, before I get off into the topics, I want to just share a little story. It's just a little humor that I think is funny, and I hope you'll find it that way also. So there's a cowboy, and he walks into a cafe. In one hand, he's got a shotgun. In the other hand, he's got a rope, and he's pulling a bull. And so he walks up to the counter, and he says, "Let me have a cup of coffee." And the waiter looks, and he sees this man holding a shotgun and a bull, and he says, "Sure." He hands him a big, tall mug of coffee. The cowboy grabs the coffee, and he drinks it down in one gulp, slams it down on the counter, whirls with his shotgun, shoots the bull, turns and walks out the door. Well, everybody in the cafe is in a state of shock. The next morning, the cowboy returns to the cafe again. He's got a shotgun in his hand, and he's got a rope pulling a bull with the other. He walks up to the counter, and he says, "I need a cup of coffee." The waiter turns, and he sees who he's got, and his eyes get big. He says, "Whoa!" He says, "What happened in here yesterday? We're still trying to clean up the mess that you made in here when you left that bull on the floor." And that makes the cowboy smile. He's so proud. He looks at him, and he says, "I'm in training for Commissioner's Court. Show up, drink coffee, shoot the bull, leave the mess for someone else to clean up, go home for the rest of the day." Well said. That is not the kind of commissioner that I'm going to be. I'm going to work full-time to represent Grimes County Precinct 2. You will see me working every day to represent you, the taxpayers of Precinct 2. So tonight I'm going to share why I'm running to be the next Grimes County Precinct 2 Commissioner. I'm going to talk about some of the issues and what I will do if I'm elected. It's also very necessary for me to paint a contrast between what I would do in the last 7 years of the commissioner that's currently in the office. You need to see a contrast. It's not my intention to be negative, but he has a 7-year record in office. You need to know what he's done, what he hasn't done, what I intend to do, so that you have a clear choice on who you want to vote for between now and March 1st. So during this campaign, I've had the good fortune to meet and visit with the residents all over Precinct 2. I have been to Carlos, Rones Prairie, Richards, Anderson, Todd Mission, Plantersville, Blackberry, Blackjack, Saddle Creek Forest, Plantation Lakes. I've been everywhere that I could sit down with a group of interested residents and talk about the issues that are important to them. If there was a place where we could sit and we could visit, I was there. I've had 11 scheduled campaign events, some that have already occurred, some still to occur. We're here tonight in Anderson for a meeting that we originally scheduled on the 4th of February. On the 22nd, we will be at Rose Prairie. On the 23rd, we'll be on Ring Fair Drive at the Copper Rose. On the 24th, we'll be at Plantation Lakes. And then we're going to wrap up on the 26th at Lake Holly Hills Plantation. So we have provided many opportunities for the residents of Precinct 2 to come sit and visit with me and learn about what I stand for and what I will do if I'm elected to represent Precinct 2. There's no shortage of opportunities to visit with me. Not only that, but I'm all over Facebook through Grimes County Media. You can find me on a daily basis where I'm sharing news information or community interest items to one or more of our groups. You can reach me by phone, you can reach me by email, you can reach me through Facebook Messenger. I'm accessible as you could possibly be. We've made that a cornerstone of this campaign to get out and engage with the residents of Precinct 2, to set an example so that they know if I'm elected to this office, this is the type of commissioner that I will be. You will see me in your community. We'll be having these meetings. We'll talk about that more later in the meeting. But what I found when I was going around Precinct 2, and you see I'm already on my second bottle of water. I really could use a piece of gum right now. We have the friendliest people in Grimes County. Grimes County is not a collection of communities. Grimes County itself is a community. I identify with that. I love that people don't, in Iola or in Bedize or Plantersville or Anderson, they don't think of it in any other way except it's the Grimes County community. It's a beautiful thing. People know each other all over the place. And we have lots of social reasons for that. The school districts connect us. Our FFA organizations connect us. Our county fairs connect us. Our churches connect us. It's a dynamic thing. We need to value that, and we need to ensure that we can always keep that as we move into the future. Friendliest people, when I sit and I knock on a door, and I identify who I am and why I'm there, the conversation begins. And I love that. I've gotten some valuable input in going around the precinct and visiting with folks. There's no better way to campaign than to go door to door and knock on a door and visit with someone one-on-one. This is great. Small meetings are much better than big ones because folks feel more comfortable and they can sit and they can engage. But knocking on a door one-on-one, that's the way to do things. And I enjoyed that very much. So in having all those conversations, what I've tried to do is I've tried to listen to the folks, identify what they seek from their county government. And of course, there's a whole range of things that people would like to see their county government do for them. But when you boil it down, there may be half a dozen that are higher, that more people are interested in. And number one item that folks in Grimes County Precinct 2 want is better roads. They want better roads. It's as simple as that. We want better roads. We want roads that we can travel. We don't want roads that the first rainstorm that comes through, that they're almost impassable. The water's running down the road. We've got huge ruts that are so big you can lay down in them. We don't want that. We want roads that we can utilize. Here's the truth, though, is Grimes County doesn't have the ability to pay for everyone to have a top-notch 5-star road. So we're going to talk about roads and what I would do with regards to roads as one of the issues here later. But people want roads, want better roads. Second thing that people want is they want lower property taxes. The taxes are increasing every year. And y'all know this because on January 31st, that was the deadline for paying your taxes. So if you look at what you paid on January 31st of this year, it was higher than what you paid January 31st of last year, which was higher than what you paid the year before. County taxes have gone up 5 straight years. I just read to you where it is the county commissioner's court's responsibility to set the county tax rate. It is not the appraisal district. If you engage in a conversation with certain elected officials, they will tell you that they had nothing to do with your taxes going up, that it's the appraisal district's fault. And that's wrong. That's not fair, it's incorrect, and that's a failure to take responsibility for what is your responsibility. County Commissioner's Court sets the tax rate. It is true that appraisal values are going up, but the appraisal district is just doing their job. They are required to conform to state guidelines and set appraisals according to market conditions. That is the truth of what they're required to do by law. Grimes County real estate values are going up. There's acreage in the southern part of the county that's selling for $50,000 an acre. So if you're one of those unfortunate landowners that owns property around that piece of real estate that's sold for $50,000 an acre, unless you can prove otherwise, your property is now going to be appraised at $50,000 an acre. They have to stay within 5% of the market conditions around where they're located.
That is correct.
In Pine Brook neighborhood, which is close to where I live, no county roads. There are no county streets except for Pine Brook Drive that goes to the center of it. But there's a network of roads that at one time were good roads that were put in by the developer that have gradually degraded down into varying conditions. Some of them are not much more than pig trails. They're terrible, and the county won't maintain them because in order for the county to take roads into the county road system, they have to meet a certain standard. Those roads don't meet the standard, and this is a story that's repeated all over the county. We have subdivisions that don't have roads that are maintained by the county that the county can't afford to maintain. The residents can't afford to bring them up to standard so the county can maintain them. It's a vicious cycle, and we need a solution for that. But the reason I bring Pine Brook up is Pine Brook's got folks that are buying lots down there that are 1/3 acre lots on unimproved roads without clear title for $12,000 for 1/3 acre lot. So that's the truth behind rising values of real estate in Grimes County. So appraisals are never going to go down. The only way that we get relief from property taxes is by lowering the county tax rate. And that's Commissioner's Court responsibility. So what you will hear, and you're probably gonna see it in the newspaper because I've touched a nerve with my opponent in pointing this out, that he continuously votes to raise property taxes, is you're going to see him come out and he's going to campaign and he's going to claim that he's lowered property taxes. That's not the truth, and you can look at your tax bill and you know who's telling you the truth. They have not. What they did do is they lowered the tax rate in 2021. They lowered it from 53 to let me give you the exact number so I'm not misquoted. So they lowered the tax rate to a little under 53 cents per $100 of evaluation. In order for property owners' taxes to have stayed the same, they would have had to have lowered it to 50.5, which is 2 cents under what they actually set it at. So even though they lowered the county tax rate, it still resulted in a tax increase for property owners. And that's the truth. They still voted for a tax increase. It just was not as big of a tax increase as it would have been if they left the county tax rate where it was. So every year they are allowed, when they're setting their budget, and they know what the appraisal values have been set at, they are required to go in and reassess what the county tax rate is. If they don't lower it down to a low enough number, then your property taxes go up. It's just simple math. In those calculations where they are trying to determine what the county tax rate should be, they're provided with a value that's called a no new revenue tax rate. And it tells them exactly what they can set the tax rate at, which will allow the county to receive the same amount of revenue from year to year on the same properties. Now that's excluding new properties added to the tax roll. That's just talking about the properties that existed this year for taxation and those same properties being taxed this year for taxation. This no new revenue will mean that the county receives the exact same amount of money. Now that doesn't mean that an individual property owner in that group might not see his taxes go up, because if his appraisal value has been significantly raised, then it's still possible that his property taxes could go up. But as a general rule, that's going to make property taxes stabilize. If someone's been fortunate enough to get a drastic reduction in their property value and they go to that no new revenue tax rate, they're going to probably actually see a good reduction in their property taxes. But what we're not seeing is we're not seeing our county commissioners vote to keep property taxes the same from year to year. Every year they're voting in a property tax increase, and the facts don't lie. I have the evidence of the votes here that I'll be more than happy to show anyone that wants to see it at the end of the meeting, where it shows the commissioners voting in favor of a tax increase. So that being said, here's my pledge to you. If I'm elected as commissioner of Precinct 2, I will vote to lower property taxes, and I will vote to lower the county tax rate. As simple as that. Combine the two. I'm going to vote to lower the county tax rate to a point where it stabilizes property taxes. I will not vote for a property tax increase while I'm commissioner. I won't. There are other ways to grow the county budget. It's time to take the load off the individual county taxpayers. Revenues are growing on their own already. We have new development, new businesses moving in. There's no reason for the existing Grimes County landowners to continue to see their property taxes increase. I'm not saying that I can make it happen. I have to convince the other commissioners to get a majority on the court, but I'm telling you how I will vote. And I keep my word. You can talk to anyone who knows me, and I'm a man of conviction. If I tell you I'm going to do something, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to vote to lower property taxes. So with that being said, that's really all I have to say about property taxes, better roads. Now, if we allow ourselves, we can talk all night about better roads. Here's the truth about Grimes County. Grimes County is a poor revenue county. So let me say this up front. The Grimes County doesn't have the values, the money, the revenues to pave everyone's roads. They can't do it. And if they had the money to pave everyone's roads, they wouldn't have the money to buy the materials to maintain them or the equipment necessary to maintain paved roads. We just don't. So what we have to do, what an elected official has to do, what the head of Grimes County Road and Bridge has to do, is they have to establish priorities. Not winners and losers, it's the wrong term, but you have to have priorities in place so that you know which roads you can address, which roads are more traffic, which roads are in more dire need of immediate repairs, which ones you can wait a month, 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, so that you can stretch your dollar as far as you can go. And it's become increasingly difficult with the increasing cost of materials over the last year as our economy has changed. So it's a problem. And one thing that I would discourage y'all from doing here tonight, and that I don't want to engage in, is I don't want to badmouth our Grimes County Road and Bridge Department. I think that we have good folks that work for Grimes County Road and Bridge, and if you have a conversation with most of them, they want to give us the best roads possible. They do. They live here, they drive the same roads, they deal with the lack of funding, the lack of resources every day. And they know that they can't provide the level of service that we all want because we don't have the money to pay for it. Harry Walker, the head of Grimes County Road and Bridge, is a nice guy. He's got over 600 miles of roads to maintain in Grimes County. I think 400 and something are unpaid. So it's a very formidable task that he's got with this road system that we have, that with one significant rain event can bring every dirt road in the county into a deplorable condition. Compounding that is that many of these roads are small. We don't have easement width to have ditches, and so in those situations we utilize the roads for the water to run down. We have landowner encroachment in certain areas where the fences have gradually moved out to where we may only have a 40 to 45 foot right-of-way easement. And that's not a wide enough area for us to put in road ditches. So we have multiple issues within our road system county-wide that we would need to address in order to get our road system up to a certain standard. What I propose to do is to create a county transportation plan. That's something that's lacking. We need a comprehensive county road and transportation plan. And I don't mean something that's developed top down from the County Road and Bridge Department. I mean something that's community-based with community input that's built from the ground level up. And there's a reason why I say that. Mr. Carroll here lives in Anderson. He drives these roads in Anderson on a daily basis. He knows the roads in Anderson better than I do. Tanya lives in Navasota. She knows the roads in the Navasota area better than I do. Kevin over here lives down the southern part of the county. He knows the roads better than I do. What I will do is I will establish a series of town hall meetings just like we're doing here. And I will invite the members of the community to come sit and talk with me about one thing: improving roads. That's it. The headline will be, take part in the development of a county road plan. That's all we want to do. We want to sit down and we want to talk about roads, and I'm going to have a sheet of paper, and there will be no bad ideas. Every idea is encouraged. And we'll make a list. I'll make a list at the meeting in Pine Brook. I'll make a list at the meeting at Saddle Creek Forest, the Plantation Lakes, on County Road 351, County Road 302, every area of my precinct where I can find interested residents that are willing to sit down and visit with me about roads. We're going to create a list, and we're going to talk about that list as a group. What are the things that we believe we could do now? What are the things that we believe we could do 6 months down the road? What are the things that we could aspire to do 3 to 5 and 10 years down the road? And we do that at these first meetings. We maybe have a series, 1 or 2 or more within those groups. But at the end of that, what we end up with when we take the plan from Pine Brook and the plan from Saddle Creek, it's a plan from Plantation Lakes, 302, we put it all together, we have a very, very rough beginnings of a plan for Precinct 2 roads. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, it's not polished, but it's the beginning of something. And it's what we lack right now. We don't have that. We don't have an opportunity for community input. If you live on a road, one of our many county roads, that has a drainage issue, the drainage issue may not exist along the entire road, but if someone doesn't know that, how are they going to learn about it? You got to drive it. It might be that it's as simple as there's a culvert that's stopped up here. It might be that we need road ditches. The folks that live there can identify those problems, which gives us a head start in developing this road plan. So what I pledge to do as commissioner is I will have these meetings. I will be very engaged with every part of my community to develop this community plan. I'm going to invite the other commissioners to participate and do the same thing in their precincts. I'm going to invite Harry Walker to be involved in this process from the very beginning. We're going to have a road plan in Precinct 2 that has community input. When we've got that, and I feel we're at a point we're ready to take it to the next step, we're going to polish it. We're going to create a document, and we're going to sit down with Harry Walker at Grimes County Road and Bridge. And I'm going to say, Harry, this is what we've created in Precinct 2. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but this is what the residents of Precinct 2 believe we could do with their roads today, 6 months down the road, 3, 5, and 10 years down the road. It's very flexible. Within your budget, and I'm going to re-emphasize, Harry has a difficult task. He does. He has a limited budget to do the things that he needs to do to bring our roads to the level that we all want. But if we sit down with Harry and the other commissioners, now we have a template of something to begin working towards, and we can start to establish priorities. Now it's going to take money. We're going to have to grow our tax base, and y'all have already heard me say that I'm going to cut your property taxes. I'm not going to come to you. We're going to grow this tax base, and we're going to talk about that here on another one of the topics, all right? So just to preempt any questions, how are you going to pay for that? I'll get into that here in a minute. But in the beginning, the beauty of this is developing this plan not going to cost the county any money. We're going to do it. The community's going to do it. We're going to do the work for them, and then we're going to hand this off to them and let them polish this within the Road and Bridge Department, and then I'll bring that back out to you and say, this is what Harry believes we can do now, that he's already working on or he has plans to work on. This is what he thinks we could conceivably make happen 3 years down the road. This is what he sees we could maybe get to 5 years down the road, and this is what's not going to happen for a very long time. Because some of our roads stretch for miles and miles back into the rural parts of the county, and there's really no reason to sink hundreds of thousands of dollars into roads that are lightly traveled. So in those cases, what we need to do is we need to make sure we've got good road ditches, we've got good base on the roads, that we've got it crowned properly so that the water doesn't run down the roads, it runs into the ditches. We establish how we're going to handle each road within this plan. Now here's what I like about that. Say I get a phone call from Emmy, and she says, well, what are you doing about County Road 213? Now I know you don't live on 213, I'm just throwing a number out there. I can go to this transportation plan that we have created within Precinct 2, and I said, Emmy, let me send you the portion of the transportation plan that relates to County Road 213. If I get a phone call from someone on County Road 202, I can do the same thing. So we will be able to answer. I'll be able to answer to you as your elected official what I'm doing to address roads, what county Road and Bridge is working on to address your roads. Now, another particularly nice thing about having a county road plan is we want to grow our economic base. We want to grow our tax base so we have more revenues to provide better roads. If I go sit down, or Johnny McNally, our county economic director, goes and sits down, or Harry goes and sits down with a prospective developer that wants to put a subdivision in Grimes County, or someone that wants to relocate his business from California to Grimes County, from anywhere. We have a tool in our toolbox, which is called a transportation plan. And we can pull this out and say, hey, Grimes County is forward thinking. We have a transportation plan that forecasts into the future what we're going to do with our road system, and it is very, very flexible. We can modify this plan to adapt to serve your facility or your subdivision to make sure that we give you the best services possible to entice this person to relocate here, to put that subdivision here, to put that business here. When you have a transportation plan, it's a tool that helps your economic development. So I pledge my priority number 2. Priority number 1 is I'm going to lower your property taxes, or I'm going to vote to lower your property taxes. I have to convince 2 other commissioners to vote with me, but I'm going to be a very, very loud vote. I'm going to be engaged in that conversation. Priority number 2 is I'm going to develop a Precinct 2 road plan, and I'm going to do the best that I can to convince the other commissioners and Harry Walker to be involved and engaged in this from the very beginning. We're going to get better roads if you elect me as county commissioner.